Now at 10, Mother Nature moving in, leaving damage behind and forcing people out.
Tonight, First Alert 4 focusing on the fallout after severe weather.
None of it is right.
She says a contractor she hired to fix her tornado-damaged home left her hanging. Now she's out $56,000.
It's called trusted roofing. There's no trust.
First Alert 4 investigates, gets answers for the woman desperate to get back home.
I'd like to see my house back together again.
And I'm Kimberly Donahue in the Metro East, hearing from neighbors after a storm shook their block. And first responders rushed in to save a woman from a burning house.
Live, First Alert 4 starts now.
We start tonight at 10 taking a look at live First Alert radar, where it's been a dry night in the metro and the threat of severe weather is long gone.
But severe weather we've had this year has forced some to move into concerning living conditions like moldy homes, while others are struggling to rebuild. And just last night, one house went up in flames.
So tonight we have crews zeroing in on the fallout after storms moved in. First, a North City woman desperate to get back into her house.
But she says she can't because the contractor she hired to make repairs didn't finish the job. I spoke to that homeowner, now out tens of thousands of dollars.
So that was the goal, to be back in my house. But as you can see, nothing has been done.
Leslie Harvey's home suffered extensive damage during the May 16th tornado, particularly to the roof. She filed a claim with her insurance, received a payout, and started the process of repairing her North St. Louis home.
Ended up going through the Better Business Bureau to kind of do my research and find, someone who does rafters, and it was trusted roofing and exterior.
The BBB lists Trusted Roofing and Exteriors as a BBB accredited business with an A+ rating. But Harvey tells First Alert 4 she's giving them a failing grade.
It's called Trusted Roofing. There's no trust.
Harvey says she signed her contract with Trusted Roofing August 14th. They quoted her $81,718 to demo existing roof debris, install new rafters, and repair masonry and brickwork. Leslie, how much money are you out of?
A total right now, $53,000.
But Harvey feels she didn't get what she paid for. November 7th, Harvey received an email from the owner of Trusted Roofing, Daryl Byerly, notifying her they would be, quote, canceling the remaining portion of the contract. He says, quote, due to the extended time required to order and receive the trusses from the lumber suppliers, time necessary to complete the specified construction work, as well as misunderstandings regarding construction processes and other inappropriate behavior, phone communications, and the use of unprofessional language and threats. The letter also lists work the contractor claims they completed, confirms Harvey paid $58,500 to date, and shows a remaining balance of more than $6,600.
I still owe $66, but what did you do? What have you done that I still owe you a balance of?
After Trusted Roofing and Exteriors issued the cancellation, Harvey went to the City of St. Louis Building Division to look for a resolution.
He said no permit was issued for this job, for the roofing. He didn't follow the codes for the City of St. Louis. I explained to him what happened, and he said, just looking at the photos, it's not right.
First Alert 4 obtained this email the city's senior plan examiner, Dave Price, sent to the contractor, where he says he reached the following conclusions. Structural repairs necessitate drawings by a licensed professional. A truss design submission would also be required. A building permit is required for structural repairs. Price says, quote, I was presented with pictures of the work performed and found it to be of substandard quality, and I also found your valuation of the work to be overstated and inflated.
Hi, this is Danielle with Trusted Roofing and Exteriors.
I tried emailing and calling Trusted Roofing. No one answered. According to the Secretary of State's office, the BBB, and Trusted Roofing's website, the business is based in St. Peters. When First Alert 4 visited the address, all we found was a mailbox inside of another business. People on the property told me Trusted Roofing only rents a mailbox there and do not have an office. I reached out to Trusted Roofing's owner, Daryl Byerly, and he texted me back saying, in part, we're declining to discuss the civil matter and we have ongoing disputes with the homeowner.
I'd like to see my house back together again, or either refund me all my money back so I can find someone who's going to do the job right.
Leslie Harvey filed complaints against Trusted Roofing and Exteriors with the BBB and the Attorney General's office. The AG's office says they are reviewing the complaint. The office also tells me they have received approximately 56 various complaints regarding different storm repair contractors after the May 16th tornado. Some forced to relocate after that twister are facing an uphill battle in their new living space.
And that includes a mother of 5 who says her new apartment is making her children sick. New at 10, Jordan Burrell spoke to a tornado victim staring down another set of troubles in her new home. Jordan?
Corey, we're live here in South City where we talked to D'Amica Williams this afternoon. She tells us that she lost everything May 16th. She was then connected to this landlord, but she says the living conditions are so bad, she feels like she survived that disaster just to be living in another one.
All I could do was cry because everything was just destroyed.
Confusion, sadness, and disbelief is what D'Amica Williams says she felt May 16th, the day an EF3 tornado ripped through St. Louis, taking everything she and her 5 children had. 6 months later, she says she's still struggling to keep her family safe.
They call themselves spray painted, and then all of a sudden happened yesterday when the people came, we had noticed that we could see it again.
Williams now lives in this Tower Grove East home, where she showed First Alert for mold on the ceiling. She says the landlord had someone spray paint over it. She says after the twister, the Red Cross assigned her a case manager, who then connected her with the landlord of this house.
That's why all the nets are around, because they're put off water.
Besides the leak and mold, along with exposed wires on the house's exterior, the mother says there is no working heat.
I have to have my oven on just to heat my house up. My kids are staying with a cold every other week.
First Alert 4 began digging into the landlord, Vernon Gentry's background. Court records show in June, the city of St. Louis issued a warrant for Gentry's failure to appear in court for a March housing violation for another property. The website for his realty LLC appears to be working, but when you click on anything, there is template text. We called the number listed on the website. No answer. Williams showed us numerous text messages between her and Gentry where he says, in part, "Why are you staying? You're stupid, and you can expletive off and stop trying to play a victim."
I am fed up. You want rent money, I want heat. I want my eyes to stop burning, and I just want to live comfortable. That's it.
Williams' neighbor tells me he also has mold in his unit. These photos show what appears to be black mold in his bathroom.
I didn't do anything. They scrub on it and stuff, I'm painted.
I just feel like they taking advantage of us tornado victims.
Now, we reached out to the Red Cross this evening to see what the vetting process is like when they connect people to resources. They sent us this statement back this evening saying, in part, the American Red Cross provided immediate emergency assistance after the St. Louis tornadoes, including helping displaced residents access temporary and long-term housing options. We do not manage rental agreements or property conditions. Any lease or housing contract is strictly between the tenant and the landlord. As for answers on the vetting process, we expect to have that information tomorrow. Live in South City, Jordan Burrell, First Alert 4.
All right, Jordan, thank you. Tonight, we're bringing you new details after a fire we first brought to you as breaking news last night.
A woman is safe tonight after that fire destroyed her home during a wave of storms. Viewers shared these videos showing flames shooting from a Metro East neighborhood. They tell us moments before, a lightning strike shook their neighborhood. Our Kimberly Donahue was the only reporter on the scene in Maryville, Illinois last night. Now she is back in the neighborhood tonight, hearing from residents now supporting their neighbor who lost her home.
It was like out of a movie. It was pouring down rain. Flames were shooting everywhere. Smoke was happening. We have lights and sirens.
Chaos is what Adam Johnessy says he came home to as he drove through Oxborough Court Monday night and saw his neighbor's house on fire.
The house is right next door, so a lot of backdraft fireballs kind of going towards our home.
The Maryville Fire Department says crews saw flames from the roof at the back of the house. Adam's son William says he saw lightning strike the home.
It was really loud, probably the loudest thunder and lightning I've ever heard.
Officials say a neighbor, a firefighter, and police officers got the woman who lived in the home out of the house. The neighbor who helped did not want to go on camera, but tells First Alert 4 he knocked on one of the windows to alert the homeowner about the flames. He helped her gather essentials before leaving the burning house.
One of the neighbors, while this was happening, took her into her home. So this is just a great effort by our neighborhood.
Just a day after the fire, you can see how much damage was done. The roof of the house is completely open, and there's boarded up windows and doors. The woman who lives in the house was not ready to speak on camera, but she tells me in the last day she's seen the true generosity of her neighbors and loved ones. And the community says they're ready to help her out in whatever way they can.
It's not going to be rectified in a day or two. This is going to take months, it could take a year. So for our community to stand by her, our neighbor in this situation is very important.
Fortunately, no one was hurt. Maryville Fire Department says the cause of the fire is undetermined, but we're told there was a significant amount of lightning during the storms in the area when the fire happened. In Madison County, Kimberly Donahue for Alert 4.
Also last night on the other side of the river, Lake St. Louis firefighters responded to a house fire they suspect was from a lightning strike. Now, these are images of the fire shooting from the roof of a home on Pleasant Meadow Drive near Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Firefighters say they had to pull down the drywall ceiling to access that fire. All residents were able to leave safely. No injuries were reported.
First Alert radar showing it's pretty quiet tonight. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton, who's timing out the latest updates to his forecast. Steve.
Yeah, thankfully, no big storms for us this evening. The front that came through was a little bit on the weaker side, and that's good news. It's way to the south now, and any storms are long gone. Now, tomorrow morning will be a little bit cooler in the mid-40s. That is still above normal, but you're still grabbing the jacket. But expect cloudy skies, patchy fog in spots, so tune in First Alert 4 in the morning and check out to see where some fog might slow you down on that morning drive. But it is dry despite the cloud cover. We have a dry break before, look at this, a couple days of good chances for rain. Thursday and Friday, waves of rain. I'll pinpoint how much we expect to get out of that and have your 10-day forecast coming up in just a bit.
New at 10, this man, 18-year-old Brian Pilarski from Baldwin, is facing multiple charges, including arson and property damage in connection to explosives that detonated outside a Lake St. Louis home this weekend. That blast happened on Saturday outside a Wentzville assistant principal's home. According to the prosecuting attorney for St. Charles County, Pilarski, along with 3 juveniles, placed 2 explosives on the victim's property, causing damage to the home's vinyl siding. No one was injured in that blast.
First Alert 4 Investigates is learning current St. Louis Sheriff Alfred Montgomery is expected to be in court tomorrow after he was not in court today, delaying the case, trying to remove him from the job. We've learned Montgomery wasn't there today because he is currently in federal custody and there was not enough notice to get him to court in time. Now, this is a story we've covered in depth. You can watch that coverage right now on Roku or any other streaming apps.
The bill is passed, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
A bill passed, making it one step closer